Hello everyone, I'm Vox Ad Acta, and welcome to today's episode of Vox Reads from the Archives of Reddit. Today I'll be reading some stories about tabletop role-playing games gone horribly wrong. This story comes to us courtesy of Redditor Frothing Gnome about 8 months ago, entitled The First Time I Kicked Out a Player. A couple of years ago, after a long D&D drought, I opened a public game at my friendly local game store, a pirate survival island adventure game. There were a couple of problem players, but no one like Sam. No evil characters, I said. All right, everyone said. We began session 1. Sam was playing a dwarven rogue. You're on a ship, I said. It's storming. Captain Jensen. You know that's not how that works, right? Asked Sam. What? I said. You can't have a captain who's an ensign. Jensen, I said. Jensen. Sam looked at me with something like contempt. We continued. Captain Jensen is yelling at you all over the crash of the waves and the pelt of the rain that this is no ordinary storm. If you lubbers have a drop of salt in your veins, your help might mean the difference between life and death. As he speaks, the sea begins to swell off the starboard side. A glistening form arises. Sam rolls his eyes and lets out a loud groan. A kraken? Seriously? Seriously? I glare. Yes, a glistening octopus-like creature half as big as the ship arises from the depths and lashes the ship's deck with its taloned tentacles. The players leap to defend the ship, except for Sam. I'm not getting paid for this. This is the sailor's job, he says. I inform Sam that his character is aware that her involvement in the battle is a matter of her own survival. He finally gives in, firing a hand crossbow at tentacles that are not engaged by allies, never triggering the rogue sneak attack dice, and getting pissed off that he's never doing anything impactful. The ship eventually wrecks, and the players stagger to shore. They spend the next few days interacting with the nearby prison colony, during which time I discovered Sam's character was in fact chaotic evil and had no background. What's the point of a background? Sam asked. I don't need one. I informed him that it gave his character several of her skills, as well as being, the way a character hooks into the game world. Whatever, he said. If this had been a private game, I might have kicked Sam out right there. Had this been a public game I had run today, I certainly would have kicked him out then. But this was a public game intended for me to get to know players new to me, so I could invite the good ones to a later private game, and I had never kicked someone out before, so I foolishly let Sam continue playing. Sam later tried to steal the MacGuffin from an NPC, failing to beat the perception rolls of literally the entire party who were staring at it at the time, and became further pissed off at his inability to do anything. He kept doing things like that throughout the next 3 sessions, selfish things that ignored how the rules actually worked and just assuming he would succeed at anything his character attempted. He eventually became bored when playing the game in general and would take to walking over to the Magic the Gathering players when it wasn't his turn in combat. He seemed to think it inconceivable that enemies would attack his character while he wasn't at the table, and he yelled at the cleric for not healing wording his character every time she dropped as a result of being a frontline assassin rogue. The final straw came when the party entered the final room of the dungeon, finding the mummified corpse of a gigantic vampire bat god tied down with golden chains. The party knew by this point that it was imperative they keep the god contained, but if they solved the puzzle of the room, they could extract the treasure it was guarding without breaking the chains. After a couple of minutes of the party engaging the puzzle, Sam's character grabbed a magic sacrificial knife and deliberately severed the linchpin of the trap, freeing the god. A mad escape dash out of a collapsing temple later, Sam's character looked up at the mummy flying through the sky and asked if the god would give him any prize for freeing it. When I said no, Sam became incensed and left the table to watch the magic players for the rest of the session. I asked Sam afterwards if he was planning on coming back to the game the next session. He said yes. I asked him not to come back. As Sam was my roommate, it was an awkward drive home. All right, the first thing that I have to say with regard to this story is thank you for the plot twist, Mr. Shyamalan. It was actually pretty funny. The other thing that I thought was hilarious was getting this mental image of the rogue trying to steal the MacGuffin that everyone is currently looking at. He's just like got his little shoulders all hunched up. He's tiptoeing in, and all of the party is just kind of staring at him. Like, what? We can see you. That's not fair. That was the thought that I thought was the funniest. But the twist was also great.